And my grandfather pretty much was a very hard worker, and he didn't enjoy any of these perks and benefits. He just wanted to make sure that my mother and, of course, my mother's family, that they had everything that they needed and they were taken care of. And this was a nice leather coat that he bought for himself, but he never wore. And I just tried it on, and it fit perfectly. So when I wear it, I am carrying the memory of my grandfather, and my grandmother always tells me that she would be very, very happy that I'm wearing it. So I wanted to just share that story.
Hello everyone, this is Darius from the Shotcaller, joined here by Yamato and his amazing new coat. Very happy with that one. We're surrounded here by a lot of people, so we can't talk about any secrets, but we can talk about the vital win against Splice. Are you happy with the team's performance overall, and are you happy with the team's performance over the week 1 so far?
Not really, no. I think we had high expectations for ourselves. Like what happened in game 2, it's kind of best case scenario because we played like shit and we get away with a point. So we get to learn and we get a point. Game 1, we had obvious issues with how we control Nashor, and this is something that we solved very quickly because we put the same stranglehold on Splice today. So I'm happy that progression happened, but the early game went to shit today. We had the Vayne pick, which is something that scales well into the game. Post 20 minutes, I was happy. Before 20 minutes, not so much, but that's what it is. We walk away with a lot of lessons and a point, so I'm fine with that.
LEC fans will walk away with a terrible fear of Karthus. Can you quickly explain why that pick even gets through at this point, because it looks really stupid?
I think Jankos is just too insane. Like, he's just
pressing the R button.
He's so good at this champion and is inspiring all of us. I think it's hard to judge Karthus. I think it's a question of maybe people haven't figured it out. It changes a lot of ways you have to play matchups, and I think G2 is kind of ahead on the curve on how to draft, and I think a lot of us are learning from them right now.
Speaking of being ahead of the curve, you guys managed to pick up Mowgli pretty early into the off-season and get that secured and have that secured roster for the spring split. How has preparation gone overall? Are you happy with the new addition, and how's the team synergy going so far?
I'm very, very happy. We've tried our best to accommodate Mowgli to make sure that he's comfortable. We're eating kimchi every day and things like this. But he belongs. I think he fits in very, very well. He cracks jokes, he's laughing. He's like one of us. I don't think there's any issue there in terms of language and such. Usually maybe we have some misunderstanding because he has some unique ways of communicating some things. But you have one misunderstanding and you move on. And this, I can tell you, has happened with any alteration of players. You have all these players. We have one guy coming from Poland, Italy. Like at the beginning of last year, we were also confused. I could barely understand a word out of anyone's mouth. And now we reached the point where I'm fluent in all these accents. So it's going great. I'm very happy with the addition, and I think mechanically he's insane.
I'm sure you're fluent in all these languages, at least when it comes to swear words. But so obviously some people were a bit confused about the transfer and stuff like that, but what a lot of people also didn't realize was that you guys were obviously staying in the Africa Freaks gaming house between, was it spring and summer split, I believe, of last year, and of course got to experience Mowgli firsthand. Was that the building stone of building the synergy and building that relationship with Mowgli, or did you already know back then, I want that guy on my team?
It was that was a big part of it. We could see his work ethic. We practiced a lot against Mowgli during the World Championship as well when he was on Africa, and he was a player that caught my eye. It felt like it was deserved that he got the responsibility to be the first spot player. He was sharing with Spirit. He learned immensely from him. Spirit is an amazing jungler. Africa as a whole is an amazing team, and I think
we're getting attacked by a Rift Scuttler. That is driving around the LEC. You can check it out on Twitter in case you haven't yet.
Jesus Christ. Okay, back to Mowgli. Mowgli mechanically was always very crisp, and it felt like this was the time for him to take responsibility of a full-time starter, and he's done immaculately. I'm very, very happy with it, and I didn't feel like it was a gamble at all. We just had to break our dynamic, because as a dynamic I felt like we peaked, and that was the way to do it. I think Mowgli mechanically is one of the best in the world. So
I got to talk to you right after the games in Madrid, and you were like, I can't wait for Worlds. I will perform a lot better than the first time I got to go there. Now, I was there with you at Worlds. And of course, Vitality did perform amazingly. Group of Death and everything, still third place. Decent one, but you know, at the end of the day, didn't get out, sadly enough. What was your personal lesson from that tournament, and what did you gain from it for the future?
I think it's, you know, the mindset of the determination that you can accomplish anything. I think it really solidified itself in our mind after this tournament. We beat some of the best, and we lost to Cloud9, which also performed. They performed very well at this tournament. I think in terms of lessons, it was more about. It was a lot of small things. It was a lot of small things, because we did a lot of right things too. Our practice could have been a lot better. I think our preparation in terms of how we were in our mindset before match was very, very good. And I think it just came down to the small things. The first game against Cloud9, we should have had it. And then the second game against Cloud9, we also should have had it. But we started off the game with giving double kill, and it just became a very tough game from there. And with that being said, generally happy, but the main lesson for me was, or the main change I wanted to make was, I wanted to add someone like Mowgli that I know can compete with the absolute best of the best in the world. Because when you compare the junglers to Europe in comparison to the World Championship, it was a complete different cake, and that is where we want to become stronger for the next year.
Fair assessment at the same time, though. I mean, Boxer has put in quite the performance. I mean,
yeah, I think Boxer is good. Yeah, I think Boxer is good. I think he received a lot of hype, and deservingly so, at the World Championship. But I think there are a lot of junglers that are mechanically better than him. I think he has a fantastic Lee Sin, but we didn't see him play any Camille. We often see him on more the tank champions, and I think that is where his weakness lies. Overall, I think he's a fantastic jungler, though.
Lots of people were really excited for Vitality. I mean, I think Scorin put you guys in, you know, the high, or like the top three, of course, and a lot of teams and a lot of people that I talked to did as well. Are those the expectations for the team for Spring Split already as well? Like top three minimum?
This is the year we are going to walk away with trophies. Anything less than walking away with trophies, going to the World Championship and performing even better than last year is of course a disappointment. So we are striving for that. The competition is very tough this year, but I don't see any reason why this roster, this alteration of Vitality can't beat the best. We had a rough start, but in the end it doesn't freaking matter. It's always the same. There are teams that start well, start poorly. It's all about what you make of it, and I'm reminding the boys daily that every single day matters.
And of course, playoffs does quite a bit as well. Yeah. Anything you would like to say to the Vitality fans about the new roster, the start of the season, anything like that?
I kind of wanted to explain the story behind the coat.
Sure.
The story behind the coat, it's a gift from my grandfather. He passed away, and I wanted to have some kind of memory from him. And my grandfather, he worked all the time, and he worked in a mine, and at the time in Poland it was a bad job to have in terms of health and what kind of risks there were, because people died very often because it was such a risky and dangerous job. And my grandfather pretty much was a very hard worker, and he didn't enjoy any of these perks and benefits. He just wanted to make sure that my mother and of course my mother's family, that they had everything that they needed and they were taken care of. And this was a nice leather coat that he bought for himself, but he never wore. And I just tried it on, and it fit perfectly. So when I wear it, I am carrying the memory of my grandfather, and my grandmother always tells me that she would be very, very happy that I'm wearing it. So I wanted to just share that story.
I think that's a very beautiful story. Thank you very much for sharing. interesting, I just need to throw it out there. During Worlds, I was also wearing a long trench coat, a beige one. It was also the coat of my grandfather, who also sadly recently passed away. So, yeah.
It's powerful, yeah?
It's very powerful. Thank you very much for sharing. Of course, thank you very much for watching as well. V for victory is, I guess, the hashtag. Of course, as always.
Get Darius some sponsors. Keep Shotcaller alive.
Thank you so much.
That's the hashtag.
Maybe it is. It's both. Let's make it both. Thank you so much, Yamato, for your time. It was a pleasure. This was Darius from the Shotcaller. I hope you had a good day. See you guys then. Bye-bye. We'd especially like to thank Krzysztof Buchnevich, Etienne, Thomas Göttel, Dominik Bolze, Lazy Raven, Erich Althaus, and Macic for your support, and of course all the other people whose names you see scrolling past you on the screen right now. Without you, our work wouldn't be possible. Thank you.